my guests here, and I would like them to start from a quick introduction about what they do and why they do what they do, because that is why we're having this panel, to inspire the next generation of young women change makers. And I would like to start with Oluwakemi.
Hello. I thought you were going to go down the line, but that's
No,
fine.
I think that's the norm.
Can you all hear me? You all sound like you haven't eaten.
I know.
Can you hear me? You need to say it like your life depends on it. Can you hear me? Great. Okay, so my name is Oluwakemi Gbadamosi. That's what I'm popularly known as, or Oluwakemi Gbadamosi Brima. I work with the AIDS Healthcare Foundation as the Director for Advocacy, Policy and Marketing for Africa. And AIDS Healthcare Foundation is an international organization with a presence in 45 countries globally. And that cuts across Africa, Asia, Europe, the US, which is our head office, as well as Latin America and the Caribbean. And a lot of our work really focuses on HIV/AIDS, basically prevention, as well as treatment for people living with HIV, and advocacy. So advocating for funding for HIV, advocating for access to treatment, advocating for favorable policies and end to stigma and discrimination, advocating for, strengthening of the public healthcare system in a way that allows for people to access life-saving medicines and also prevention support. But under all of that, we have a young people's program, and we actually have two programs that targets young people. And the first one is the Girls Act. I have 3 of my Girls Act girls here. Could you just stand up and wave so that they can see you? There are 3 of them. So, and under the Girls Act, we started the Girls Act in 2016. I am one of the co-initiators of the Girls Act program in AIDS Healthcare Foundation. And we started in Africa in 4 countries: South Africa, Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya. But as I speak to you, we have Girls Act now in 36 AHF countries out of the 45. And that is basically reaching more than 2,500 girls. Why did we start the Girls Act? I don't know how many of you know it, but the greatest burden of HIV new infections are amongst young women and girls aged 10 to 24. That is where we have the highest number of new HIV infections every year. Every week in sub-Saharan Africa, more than 4,000 girls get infected with HIV. And we'll talk about it as we discuss. And so we knew that we needed, as a HIV/AIDS organization, we needed to have a target programming that focuses on girls. So I also double as the coordinator for the Girls Act for Africa. And really is about addressing the drivers. So I'm sure some of you are wondering, why are girls having HIV infections? Why? So poverty is one of them. Lack of access to education, lack of access to sanitary pads, lack of access to sexual reproductive health services and education, things such as sexual and gender-based violence. Those are the things that expose girls to HIV infections, that we're seeing the numbers we are seeing. And just to wrap up, the reason why I do what I do. Number 1, I'm a girl at heart, no matter how old I get. Number 2, I know the power of education and access to education. I sit in the position I sit today because of what I know, because of the access I have, because of the people who believe in my capacity and my gifts and talents and skills, despite the fact that I've only been with the organization for 10+ years now, which is a decade, is a long time. But I rose from the country office to now sit in the bureau office, where I head advocacy, policy, and marketing for the whole of Africa, where AHF has a presence. But beyond that, I am also a woman who, as a girl, suffered abuse as well. And so I know what it means to fiercely protect young women and girls. And one of the things I vowed to do was to use my voice, to use my space, to use the platforms, the access and power and influence I have to make sure that girls do not have to go through what I went through. And girls have everything they need to thrive, to be healthy, and to be great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oluwakemi, for that. So I know that we all really want to get to know all of my panelists, but because of time, I'd like us to keep that introduction a little bit shorter. So I'd like to go to Kanga now to give that introduction very briefly. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Sorry, I'll make it short. So my name is Kanga Rasi. I am from Kenya. I am the Africa Campaign Manager of Brave Movement, and I have my employers with me. My Brave Movement partners, where are you? Yes, so my employers are here. So Brave Movement, we campaign to end childhood sexual violence with the survivors at the center, because as we say, we then for girls, we then for survivors. For the longest time, it has been survivors have been programmed for without their input. But when you listen to survivors, they have the solutions with them. You asked, why do I do what I do? Because at 10, I was defiled by my uncle, and I kept it for 20 years. And I saw the impact it had. So for me, it's to be brave, because I know most young girls are going through that. And because you don't have somebody who you can look up to and actually say, I am going through this, because unfortunately, sex is a taboo topic. Sexual harassment, it's happening in schools, it's happening in our homes with, unfortunately, our parents, our brothers, our cousins. So for me, I am brave so that children can be safe. I am brave to speak out, this happened to me, so that it's no longer a taboo, so that other kids don't have to go through what I went through. And if somebody has gone through that, they are able to approach and say, this is what I've gone through, what services do I require? So the prevention, psychosocial support, justice is what I stand for. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was brave. Thank you so much, Kanga. So now I'll go to Nsikan, please. Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay. It's morning still, right? Okay. Okay, it's afternoon now. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nsikan Ubi. I am the CEO and founder of Nubi Consulting, which is a consulting company for tech firms. So having been in the tech space for quite a number of years and worked in various tech companies, I felt that there was a gap in the tech space, which was someone to actually help guide the companies through the business aspects, as opposed to just focusing so much on the tech aspects. And so I started the company, and I've been helping a lot of female-led tech companies, actually, which is really great, and obviously makes me really excited to see more female representation in the space. I'm also the head of strategy and partnership for an NGO called Women in Tech Global. Women in Tech Global is a global initiative to promote more participation of female in the tech space. So its headquarters in Paris and is in over 48 countries, and we have over 200,000 people that are involved in that. So I'm currently the head of the strategy and partnership for Women in Tech Nigeria, and again, like I said, it's just to promote women participation in this space. So why do I do what I do? I feel like I've kind of said it somewhere in between there. I really would love to see more women and girls in the tech space. I don't believe it's a gender-based sector. And so when you see a lot of men and guys just infiltrating the space more and more and less women in there, I keep asking why. Because I believe that we go to the same school, we're learning the same thing, it's the same subject, so why do those margins begin to increase as we go on? And yeah, I also studied science in school, if that's interest any young girl here, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Nsikan. Now I feel a little bit more comfortable because we have a tech person on this panel, because that's one of the things that we drive at Gallup, to ensure that more girls are aware and have access to the right tools for them to strive in the tech space. So let's have Chie. Thank you. Onyinye.
Thank you so much. Who run the world? Who run the world? Girls, girls, girls. All right. I am Onyinye Ede. I am the founder and Chief Empowerment Officer at Strong Enough Girls Empowerment Initiative. And we are an almost 8-year-old nonprofit organization with our office in Abuja, and we're dedicated to ensuring that women and girls in marginalized areas have all of the resources that they need to fulfill their maximum potential. So I founded Strong Enough Girls a little over 8 years ago. And for me, why did I start it? As you can hear from the name, Strong Enough Girls, I really believe that girls are strong enough. You're not just strong, but you're strong enough. You're strong enough to be who you want to be, not to be defined by what society or who society thinks you should be. And for me, it was also a personal journey of coming into myself, knowing who I am, knowing that regardless of any obstacles or hindrances that come my way, I am strong enough physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the Elise. But I just want girls to believe that you're strong enough and that the world is here for you. You should take up space. So at Strong Enough Girls, we focus on 3 main areas: girls' education, female mentorship, and life skills development. I'm a public health professional and I work in sexual and reproductive health. As Kemi has talked about, a lot of girls fall victims to sexually transmitted infections and all sorts of diseases that I feel are preventable. So for us at Strong Enough Girls, we want to ensure that girls have the information that they need. I was telling some of my fellow panelists that why do I do what I do? I do what I do because I don't want any girl to ever tell me I did not know. I want to eliminate I did not know from our vocabulary. I want you to be able to make informed decisions and choices. So my job is to make sure that I give you information. My job is to make sure that you have the health care services you need and when you need them. And then your job is to make an informed decision. And I think together we can make the world a much better place. So I look forward to interacting with each and every one of you.
Thank you so much, Onye. So the reason why I wanted all of my panelists to give you guys a background is because there's going to be room for Q&A, right? So most of the times, audience don't know what to ask panels because they don't understand what they do. But now you all understand what my panelists are doing, and I'm really looking forward to some of your questions that will be directed to them. So I'd like to start my question from Nsikan. I mean, in the tech space, we have seen the barriers, we have seen the gap, and how do you think young women, young girls can be more self-aware and be prepared for that space, probably from secondary school, from undergraduate? When do they become self-aware and how do they become so prepared for that tech space? Yeah. Please help me too. Thank you.
So I think before you even go into the sector, it starts with you as a person, just challenging yourself and just saying, and setting your mind to it, whether it's tech, whether it's arts, it's like, okay, this is what I want to study, this is what I want to go into. I think for me, it started in secondary school. To be honest, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into sciences or not. I won't lie, one of the things that pushed me to go into to being a science student in secondary school, I was like, who do these ones think they are? I don't understand. Me too, I can get A in physics. And I literally said, I'm going to do physics, I'm going to do chemistry, I'm going to do everything. But I was like, wait, actually, calm down. What are you actually trying to do here? So, like what I said earlier, I think it just goes back to you actually setting your mind to doing something. It starts off with that. And I mean, I did sciences and I came out with my A, like I set my mind to. Not because it was easy, but because I was like, why are people getting A's? There must be something here. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? So, I mean, I pushed myself to it, and then I came out with that. And I think just transitioning from that, funny enough, I actually did not go on to study science in university. I was like, okay, I've proven my point. Next, what do I want to study? And I actually went into social sciences, which was economics. But when I graduated and I came into the tech space, I somehow found myself back with sciences, which was technology. And when I came into this tech space, I think it was just something that I just felt like, okay, it's actually not that hard. The world is evolving, it's becoming more technologically advanced, and it'd be great to have more female representation in there, just so that it doesn't just feel like it's a man's world. I really do not like that terminology. And in one way or the other, I know people are trying to break off that phrase and that term. And so for me, I was like, well, I can start in my own field. So I'll say one of the things to do to just prepare is, again, it starts with being in school and focusing on what you're trying to study and actually being very serious at it. Self-reflection as well. Of course, along the journey, it wasn't a smooth sail. I had to do a lot of self-reflection, ask myself, okay, what am I doing well? What am I not doing well? And for the things that I was not doing well, yes, I know we try to say, okay, we're trying to break the barriers and all that, so we're trying to push female representation out there. But to be honest, make your male counterparts that are good at it your allies as well. I would go up to a male student or a male colleague, I'm like, can you help explain this thing? And they will explain it to you, and you can become better at it. No one says that because you're going to go and meet them for explanation, it means that you're not smart or anything. You can actually take the explanation, say thank you, and go and add your own on top of it, and you become better than them. And so, for me, I think those are some of the things that you can do to prepare. Just having that self-reflection, being very honest with yourself. Okay, what am I really not good at? And ask yourself, okay, is this something I'm really trying to get into, or is this something that I'm not getting into out of fear? So also ask yourself, why am I not doing something? Is it from a fear perspective, or is it from a place of just lack of knowledge? If it's lack of knowledge and it's something you want to do, equip yourself, do trainings. I mean, the world has gone so global now that you can literally sit in your homes and in your dormitories and you have access to internet, and you can learn anything by just going online, YouTube videos, online courses that are even free, and you get to learn what you need to learn. So just prepping yourself in aspects like that, equipping yourself with knowledge, asking questions if you don't understand, and just being humble enough to actually listen, take it in, and adapt it and apply it where you need to.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So I'll move from self-aware now to imposter syndrome, Oluwakemi. Leadership comes, with imposter syndrome because that is what we're finding in our society today, right? From your own experience, from your walk of life, have you experienced imposter syndrome? And how did you deal with it? And how do you think these young ladies, girls watching you and listening to you can also handle it whenever they come across it? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Balkis. So first, let me just start by saying, I don't know how many of us, in terms of the participants, know what an imposter syndrome is. So it's basically a feeling that you're not as good as everybody else thinks you are. So you feel like when you get a particular opportunity or a particular position, you don't think you're deserving of it, but other people think that you are. So yes, I've had to struggle also with imposter syndrome, but there was something I saw by Adam Grant, who is very renowned for trying to break a lot of the norms that we know in the workplace and out of the workplace. And he talked about imposter syndrome. I'll just paraphrase. The last thing he said about it was that, no, you do not have imposter syndrome. The only thing is that you are yet to catch up with how amazing and great you are, like everybody else around you recognizes. It's not a problem. You just haven't come to a realization that I'm actually that good, right? So in terms of imposter syndrome, I think for us women or girls, it's harder because a number of the spaces that we are in or we've dared to come into, they're spaces that originally men would be the one to occupy those positions or occupy those or have those opportunities. So then you start to feel that I don't think I'm good enough. Maybe I'm not deserving of this place. But I came here to tell you today that every space you dare to qualify to be in, that you work hard for, that you step into, you are more than deserving to be there, to sit there, to contribute there, and to be involved there. So one of the ways I try to always remind or to deal with imposter syndrome, I don't know how many of you believe in affirmations. I do a lot of affirmations. Even as old as I am, I do affirmations because it's so easy to get carried away by what everybody else does that you fail to recognize the things that you're really good at. And that was one of the things Nsikan said when she talked about knowing yourself, your strengths, and all of that. It starts from there. I deal with imposter syndrome because every now and then, it's just that now, I think with age and with experience, so like I sit in, I'll give you an experience. So I'm a lawyer by training as well. And in 2020, I got the Chevening Scholarship, the UK Chevening Scholarship. Thank you. I got the UK Chevening Scholarship to do my second master's degree at UCL, University College London, to study education, gender, and international development. Wait, I'm coming to a point. When I started my courses, I woke up one day and I was just crying. As old as I am, 2021 is not far away. It's just like 4 years ago. Right? No, 3 years ago, right? I woke up in the room and I was crying, as old as I am like this, because I felt like I was out of my depth. UCL is one of the best universities, leading universities in the UK. I'm like, what am I doing here? Am I sure I'm supposed to be here? The people, and I'm hearing them speak, and I don't feel like I should be here, though. So I called a therapist, and I was bawling. I said, I'm reading courses. I've been working for how many years? I'm a lawyer. I have a first master's. This is the second. So it's my second rodeo. I should be good at this. And I told her how I just felt I was inadequate. I felt like I was out of my place. Maybe I shouldn't have taken the scholarship. Maybe I shouldn't have come here. That is what imposter syndrome manifesting itself. Telling me that all the things I'm seeing in class, hearing people talk, is basically saying, you shouldn't be here, Oluwakemi. And then she asked me one question. She said, how did you get into UCL? I said, I applied for scholarship. Oh. Me, I applied. And she said, this scholarship, it's a popular scholarship. A lot of people know Chevening. She said, did you have to pay anyone to get into the room? I said, no. I did interviews. I applied first. I wrote essays from my heart and my experience. I scaled through the interview. And then she asked, how many people applied for this scholarship? Globally, more than 14,000. In Nigeria alone, we're more than 6,000. And she said, how many people from Nigeria got picked finally to go? I said, we were 43. Then she kept quiet and she says, I wanted you to do the maths to remind you that you are in UCL to do a course that you applied for and the university accepted you and you got the scholarship because you were supposed to be there. Out of 6,000 people from your country, 44 of you made it. I need to remind you today that you are supposed to be there. So let go of the fears that you're having. Whatever it is you needed to do to get the scholarship, project that into your classes. Tell yourself, I'm here because I am deserving, because I know it though. I'm smart. So I think a lot of times we're modest. It's good. But please don't be modest in a way that diminishes your capabilities and your skills and your gifts. And guess what? I graduated with distinction. All A's. The same me. I think the only B I had was my dissertation. But everything else was an A. And so I graduated with a distinction. The same me who was crying that I didn't feel like I belonged. So just to wrap it up, when it comes to dealing with, first, don't see it as an imposter syndrome. See it as you taking time to catch up with the greatness that you have. Because the people who entrust you with opportunities, the people who entrusted me with the scholarship, my boss who entrusts me with my position, they see something in you. They see potential. They see skills. They see gift. They see talent. You're the only one who is taking time to look in the mirror and say to yourself, everything they see, I also see. And that's where you deal with imposter syndrome.
Thank you so much, Oluwakemi. I think when I walked into the room where you guys were, I think that maybe that's where this spark happened, because I'm also looking to go into UCL next year for my master's. So I think now, in case imposter syndrome, because this time is imposter syndrome. All right, thanks so much for sharing that. So from imposter syndrome, we're going to move very quickly to our self-worth. And I'm going to have Kanga to do that. Why is showing your self-worth so important to emerge as leaders?
Thank you so much for that. I think maybe let me just do a quick exercise in the room. Who are our role models? Do you know a role model? Who a role model is? So can you just name some few role models? Just shout. Your mother. Thank you. Anyone who can share role models?
Someone says Chimamanda.
Chimamanda. Anyone else?
Anyone?
Your grandma?
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'll close up there.
Yeah.
Does anyone have themselves in that list? Are you your own role model? Are you your own role model? So it starts with you first. Are you your own role model? Because at the end of the day, even if you have Michelle Obama, Chimamanda, your mom, those are amazing role models, but you yourself, do you trust that you can be your own role model? Because even as you try to emulate somebody else, remember, in this life, you run the race by yourself. So in as much as I always put this example, like the ladies who go before us and even our mentors, it's like a relay. They are holding, they're at the front, but they're holding the relay, the placard, and they're asking you to catch up. So you need to do a lot of self-work on yourself so that you can be able to catch up. I loved what you mentioned around affirmations. And I always say imposter syndrome, yes, it comes, but also there's that aspect of self-awareness where you literally know the things that you're good at, your weaknesses, the places you need to make improvements on. So while you work on your strength elements, you also assess, what am I weak at? I never used to speak. Public speaking was not a niche for me. In fact, I was an introvert. An introvert is somebody who just literally they love their own company. But I used to find that when I go out to spaces, I am the first one who's speaking, and everyone was wondering, while you're at home, you're literally, basically on your head. But I mastered, there's something called ikigai. It's from I think the Japanese, where you look, the work that you do and your personality, are they different? And at times they are different because your personality at home is different from what you do because of the love of what you do. So that is self-assessment. So for me, public speaking wasn't something that I was really good at. So I had to literally follow mentors who they were basically good in public speaking, and I would attend even such conferences. And I remember I was really adamant at attending such conferences that some conferences I really volunteered. Otherwise, I would hear there's something that's going on. I know I'm not on the list, but I would find my way in. I would go either to the event organizer or the people who are at the registration, and I would use my young card. Like, I'm here to learn, and I would put a smile, I would dress professionally just because of that hunger. Like, I want to meet the people who are in that room. And I did this for, I think, 6 months, and one of the ladies in that room identified me, and she was like, you've really been consistent. And she picked me and she started mentoring me. So it has not been a walk in the park. It has been really, like when you hear sweat and tears, I normally like to quantify it with, you need to do the work. Is it the affirmations? Then the other element is you also need to identify what do you really want. Because even in this game, and I like how we have diverse people. We are having some who are working in the tech space, others who are working in the humanitarian space, because you need to, your self-awareness really is what do you feel you're good at. Because yes, you might be good in a different array of things, but name 2 things that you really feel you're good at, then go for them. And go for them might be, you might, like growing up, I wasn't really my academics, I'm a lawyer by profession, but I really struggled when I was in primary. Like I was those people who'd get D's, E's. I'm like, and I would go home and my mom would be like, we've paid school fees. What are you bringing? Then it's my self-assessment went to, okay, why am I getting the D's and why am I getting the E's? By the time I finished my secondary year, I finished with that B+. And it was that self-assessment because I analyzed my weaknesses and now I knew I needed help. And I went to the people who were doing well, and I also had tuition classes. So that element of self-awareness to identify where am I now, then figuring out where do I want to be, so what is my strategy in this midst. So I think it's more around analyzing who are you. And you know, we don't sit with our thoughts. We always like to be in big rooms and also in chunks of groups because we fear going into our minds. We fear what we are able to discover about ourselves. And I always say, research has proved that we have a 1% insanity capacity. So at times, it's good for you to sit with yourself and identify what this 1% of insanity in me, what does that bring out of me? Because if you are not aware about yourself, then I am not able to know how good are you. Because guess what? You're the only person who can bring the amazing self to the room. Because if you don't speak about what you're doing, what you're good at, then I'm not in a position to know. So be mindful in the spaces that you are. And even though you hear that statement that when you speak too much, you're called know-it-alls. You are not a know-it-all. You're basically selling yourself. I always say, each and every day when you wake up, you're marketing yourself. So if you don't speak up, we will not know what you are doing, and we are not able to mention you in rooms where you are. So market yourself. Let people call you know-it-all, but at the end of it all, you're not a know-it-all. You're simply marketing what you're good at. You're simply saying, here I am, this is what I do, and I'm happy to volunteer, I'm happy to be in these spaces with you.
Thank you so much. That was a long dive, and I hope that you guys are taking notes. So I'm going to go to Oye. I know you've been in this space. I mean, you mentioned that your NGO is about 8 years, and you've been working in the health sector. What has been your biggest challenge, and what has been your biggest success? And how are you able to manage both whenever they come?
Great question. Okay. Greatest challenge. It's interesting because I usually try not to see things. I love challenges. So I think, thinking about it, of course, people will say when you start a nonprofit, you have to sustain it. And I'm really grateful to God. I'm also grateful to a network and a great community that believes in the work that I do. So they've been supporting us for 8 years. We've also been able to get some grants from some key donors. So that has really helped us to address some funding challenges. But I think the biggest challenge really will be societal norms. We continue to wrestle with a lot of the issues that our mothers and our grandmothers were dealing with so many years ago. So personally, I go into schools to talk about issues around sexual and reproductive health. So imagine in Nigeria, Nigeria is not the easiest country to tell the government or the Ministry of Education that you want to come and talk to young people about their sexual and reproductive health. Once they hear the word sex, it doesn't even have to finish. S-E-X, and that is where the conversation stops. But we have to learn how to work with the government, how to work with our parents as well, because our government leaders are parents. So we have to help them to understand that they were in our shoes and they know what young people are experiencing. And the reason I go to schools is not to try to corrupt you all as students. It's because, like I said when I introduced myself, information, you need to know. A lot of girls and boys get themselves in situations that they could have avoided if they had the right information or if they had the right access to a service. So for me, the challenge would be still working and figuring out strategies to really connect with our adults, really to help them understand that we're not trying to corrupt young people. Because trust me, I like to believe that I've always been a good girl. And I'm a good girl not because they didn't tell me about sex, but because they told me about sex, because I knew that when I get sexually involved with someone, I know what risks and opportunities that presents. But also, the education I give in school, it's not just focused on sex. We also talk about life skills, because as you grow up to become an adult, you have to learn so many things. I mean, you've heard about imposter syndrome and self-worth. These things, if you don't have assertive skills, if you don't know how to negotiate your way out of situations, if you don't know how to even decide what you want to do with your life. A lot of people graduate from universities and they don't know what they want to do with their life. So part of what I do with sexual and reproductive health education is providing comprehensive knowledge so that young people can know what they want for themselves and know how they want to contribute to the world at large. So that's the challenge, just how do we work better with our parents to understand our need for sexual and reproductive health information. Successes, I'm still a very young person, and I feel like I've been able to attain a lot of successes in my career. And it's because I started with a good foundation. I had parents that encouraged me to really go out there, volunteer for organizations, test out what I think I'm interested in. And then as an organization, because we do good work, we've been able to secure a community of supporters. So a lot of the money that we get, it's basically family and friends and even strangers on Facebook. They just see how often I'm posting. Like I'll go to a school today and I'll get to hear some stories. Like I've done a lot of stories about girls lacking menstrual health supplies. I've talked about girls being infected with HIV. I've talked about teenage mothers. I've done a documentary even about a lot of these key issues that girls are facing. So when I go on my Facebook, I post these stories. Of course, I always get permission and I know how to tell people stories without putting their business out there. But my community is able to connect with the work that I do because they see me go to the field. And as a result, they're like, Onine, I want to help make this girl's life better. We also sponsor girls in school. I'm so glad that to date we sponsored about 15 girls to go to secondary school. And then we even graduated 4 girls from the university, not just in Nigeria, but we have a girl in Zambia, in Uganda, and in Kenya that have graduated because people saw the work that we're doing and they said, I want to help this girl finish school. So for me, those are some of the successes, and of course, being able to come and meet you all and speak on a platform like this because of the work that we do, that's a success. So balancing it, yes, while I wrap up, as a young woman, it can get easy for you to feel yourself. Like, you're like, oh, they're inviting me, I'm a speaker at Girl Up, oh, I get to travel, all of it. You can get puffed up. But every day, whenever I take a drive down or I walk down the street, I always see something that reminds me there's still a lot of work to be done. In your schools, you see some girls that are dropping out because they get pregnant. In your homes, or hope by God's grace not in your homes, but a lot of girls are going through abuse in their homes, at church, in your workplace. So for me, these are things that remind me that as much as I can get frustrated about adults not wanting us to get information, I can also know that, okay, I've been able to send some girls to school. So just always reminding myself that, okay, while I've done a lot, there's still room for more, and just staying humble and making sure that regardless of what I do, I always remember where the need is greatest. I don't just come to the cities to talk to city girls. I go into the villages. I go to the places where even a motorcycle cannot get you there. You have to walk there. So for me, I try to keep those pictures and those stories in my mind to balance out my success and the challenges.
Thank you so much, Onyinye. So most of the times when we meet women of this caliber, right, these are questions that you really want to ask them so that when you get to that stage, you understand how to manage your success and how to also manage challenges. So I have a challenge for you. In your notebook, I want you to write what success means to you. It could be that you took third position in your class last month or in your last semester, but this semester you are pursuing yourself to take first position, just like what Nsikan did when she was in secondary school, challenging herself. So I want you to write in your notebook what success means to you. So while we are at that, I'd like to take just 2 questions because I've been notified that we're running out of time. This panel is so interesting that I don't even want us to end it. But yes, I see one hand there. So yeah, good. Premium. No worries. I love this. So the lady, can we get a microphone, please? The lady that said her mom is a role model. Yes, she's the one that raised her hand up first. And the lady at the back there. Yes, please, if you can just stand so that, yes, thank you. So please, if you're directing the question to any of the panelists, you can come up, you can come and they will give you the mic. All right, they're bringing the mic to you. So tell us your name and who you're directing your question to. Thank you.
My name is Munira Jama Sanusi. And my question is, like, do you know anyone who has been a victim of like home abuse or anything else? And if you do, what they did about it?
Okay, so we have somebody on stage, and I'd like her to take that. If we know a victim of abuse and how they dealt with it. Yeah.
Yes, I am a victim of abuse. We don't call ourselves victims, we call ourselves survivors. And first and foremost, thank you so much for that question. You are brave. You are brave to ask that question. You are brave. As I said earlier, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, both offline and right now online, is like a taboo topic, yet it's a pandemic. So I know so many survivors who have been sexually abused. I'd also like to ask my Brave Movement partners to just stand up. Sonia, Juliet. So these are Brave Movement partners. So they are based in Nigeria, and they offer a lot of psychosocial support. They also link you to services like going to the police to report. They also link you with access to justice. They work with you if you're a survivor or if you know somebody who's a survivor in that court process. They are a family to us. So for Brave Movement, we are a global institution. We are not implementers, but we have partners who are on the ground. Currently, we are in 25 African countries, and in both, we're also in Latin America, Asia, and Europe. In Nigeria, we have around 6 partners, and the ones who are standing here are our partners who stand with the girls, the adolescents who are in Nigeria. They are based in Lagos, there are others who are in Nigeria, and also Ibadan, like their names I cannot pronounce, sorry. But even during this conference, if you can walk up to me, you can walk up to either of them, you can get more help. And thank you so much for that question.
Thank you so much. And just before you go, Onye is going to be giving you a gift for being brave to ask, to answer the first question and for asking the first question during this panel. So you can meet her after. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, let's have the second question. Your name and your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to the panelists. My name is Adiola Oke. I'm a student from the University of Ibadan. So I want to ask, is it compulsory that one builds or starts a foundation before you can actually make a change or set yourself up for opportunities?
All right, so I think I would like Nsikan to take that question because she transitioned from working to realizing a problem and creating something around it. But yeah.
Absolutely not. I don't own a foundation, and I believe I'm making a change in the spaces that I'm in. You can make a change even in your house. You don't have to be a part of a foundation. I know you said you're in university. What are you studying?
University of Ibadan.
What are you studying?
Communication and language arts.
Sorry?
Communication and language arts.
Okay, well, it's not more about the course, but basically what I was just trying to point out is even in your own course, it can be within your group of people in your class that you can make a difference. First of all, it could even start off with you just being authentic to yourself and being true to yourself. And people just know, oh, wait, so if you're looking for someone that can do this, this is your person. If you're looking for someone that can do B, this is your person. If you're looking for someone that, will stay true to herself, she will be very honest about something. She's not going to lie about it. She's going to literally be very real and not cut corners and all that. She's your person. That already is a change in itself because you may not know, and the thing about change is sometimes you may not know the impact it's having on other people. Other people are watching and like, oh wow, okay, this thing is actually pays to actually be real. It actually pays to be authentic. It actually pays to be good at what I do. And that in itself is already making a change in itself. And then there are obviously the ones where there are conscious efforts where maybe you find a cause, as well. Again, you don't have to start the foundation. You can start a cause where you're just passionate about something, you're passionate about communications, and you're like, oh, hey, post it on LinkedIn. Who wants to talk about the challenges we're having in this space? And you guys come together and you speak about it, and then you're just known for that person that brought everyone together, but you don't have to have a foundation to start it.
Thank you.
Much, Nsikan. As much as I would love for you guys to ask more, we can take one more. All right. So I see a student. Yes, please come forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Shemilori. I'm from Lekki British School. And I wanted to ask a question. So if I want to start a club or an organization in my school for the girls, because I feel like sometimes if you're not too stern, people are not really keen to listen to what you have to say. I want to ask how I can make everyone feel included and how I can get everyone to just be really excited about this thing and not feel like, oh, they have to force this thing because they're a girl or something like that.
Yeah, I think Oluwakemi should take that, and yes, she's expert.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say you're all asking really solid questions. So your teachers, your parents should be very proud. Applaud, yeah, very solid questions. And I'm glad that you want to start a club or you're looking to start a club in your school. The first thing, and it doesn't have to be confined to school, but if you do have an enabling environment, your school seems like a cool school, what I'll ask you to do is you draw up what we call a concept note. Now, it's not too technical. Concept notes can be very easy. What do I mean by concept note? It's simply saying, what do you want to do? So you want to start a club. What would the club be about? Because when we say girls or boys, the issues are very vast. So you need to narrow it down. Are you talking about girls' leadership? Are you talking about girls' health or boys' health? Are you talking about advocacy in school? Or are you talking about just building girls' skills to do public speaking, to do empowerment for other girls. So you need to identify what kind of club you want to start. So let's say, for example, you're looking to start a leadership club for girls and boys in your school, or maybe for only girls, if it's an only girls school, right? You're looking to start a leadership club or a leadership and health club. You want to write on a piece of paper or on your computer or tablet, why do I want to start this club? So there must be a gap that you're seeing. You've just mentioned it that, oh, people don't understand why they need to be part of this. So you want to write that down. Then you want to also have what we call an objective. What is your aim? What are you hoping to achieve? To build more girls leaders in school who are also informed about their health, right? And then what kind of, how many times are you going to meet in a week? Is it going to be a meeting every week? The reason why I'm asking you to do a concept note is because it helps to give clarity. So when you have your small document together, right? So what is your outcome? What do you hope that the school will benefit from this club and even the girls? And you can get anyone to help you review it, to go through it. Once you have that small piece of document, you go to one of your teachers, right? One of your teachers or your principal or your headmistress, whoever it is. Or if you have a guidance counselor, somebody in school who is responsible for activities like this, you want to present it to them to say, this is my idea of a club I think we need in school because it is missing. Now, amongst your friends, you will have people who have interest or who are passionate about what you're talking about, or even in your class. Now, because you're in a school setting, it's always good to get permission. Now, if you're outside of the school setting, it's a lot easier, but that does not mean it's not possible. We have a lot of clubs in school. So that's why you need to have your concept note presented to whoever is responsible, and then the reason why you want to do that is you want to get permission to start the club. Then you identify people from your class or amongst your friends in school who are interested. You also need to identify what kind of activities would you have. Do you want to bring people once in a while to come and teach you people or build your skills on leadership, for example? Do you want to have moments where you watch maybe movies or shows that inspire leadership or inspire health? You have to clearly itemize those things so that way your club is with form and structure. And then there's also a sustainability plan. In other words, if you graduate tomorrow, will that club continue? So you want to have like a leadership structure where maybe after every year, they get elected, new leaders get elected into the club. So that's a way for you to start your club. Find the people like you in school who are interested in this. They will be the ones to help you drive it after you get the necessary permission.
Thank you, Oluwakemi.
Thank you.
And just to add that I'm very much happy to walk you through how to create a concept note for your initiative, so we can always catch up on that. Nsikan wants to say something on it too.
I wanted to add, well, you beat me to it, but I was going to say I don't know how your school works and how you can communicate to people outside, but I'm happy to help you with that because that's something that I did in secondary school as well. Yeah. And something else to just point out, I know you said, how do I get everyone? To be honest, you might not be able to get everyone at the beginning, and that's okay. Usually people would join and literally start looking for you when they begin to see the impact, and even goes on even beyond secondary school. It's not every time that everyone, catches on to your vision at the beginning, and that's okay. You can start off with 2 people, and that's fine. And like I said, people will come on after when they see the impact. When I started something similar in secondary school, and everyone was like, what kind of boring club is this? We're only like 3 or 4. And we went on, we continued. There was something around public speaking, there was press club, there was just basically trying to, get females out there in school or girls out there in school to speak more, and we did with assembly and different things. And the UN came to our school, and they were having a UN conference in Abuja, and they needed some people to come and represent the school, and they actually selected the people from our club to go for this conference. And when people saw that, they were like, wait, this conference actually makes sense. And then we now had so many people that were like, sorry, we're full. We can't take everyone, and we had to start screening. So like I said, at the beginning, everyone may not say, but when they begin to see the impact, and this goes on beyond secondary school as well, you'd see that people will come on board.
Yes, so thank you so much, Nsikan. So you have Nsikan, you have myself, and we can bring the club to reality. So thank you so much, everyone. Please, can you appreciate yourself? I'm sure that by now you have all written what success means to you. Am I right? Right? Okay, so can we take the mic to the lady in pink to tell us what success means to her?
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Debbie, and I'll define success as setting your mind to achieve a particular goal or a particular mission and putting in the hard work to achieve that set goal.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we have the other lady. She raised her hand. So let's know what success means to you.
Okay, success to me is...
Your name and then...
Yeah. Okay, my name is Mariam Aguru. So success to me is happiness, and despite the challenges I face, like I'm still moving forward. Like I don't let the obstacles I face in life set me back. So happiness and basically moving forward, that's success to me.
Thank you. So thank you so much, Oluwakemi, Kanga. Right, did I pronounce it right? Okay, Oyiye and Nsikan, for your wonderful insight and for sharing from your wealth of knowledge to this amazing audience. So please appreciate them and appreciate yourself. So this is the end of the panel. I would just like to invite on stage Mrs. Kwasara and Dr. Fatima and Musunda for a group picture. Thank you.